Yo, what's up, y'all, man? We just delivered in Alabama. Um, we didn't get the footage on that, but this video gonna be more of me talking. But yeah, man, when I was parked, um, somebody ended up running or hit my truck. I wasn't in the truck when they hit it, but they ended up hitting it and take it off. They even damaged my my license plate on the truck, so I gotta get that replaced eventually. I mean, you still can tell it's a 7 a little bit, but I mean, I'm probably gonna block this out though. I'm probably gonna show y'all my tag number, but yeah, man, people hit your truck and just take off, man. Yeah. Good thing I do a pre-trip and I noticed it, but man, it ain't too much damage. Cause back here you really can't tell that it's damaged from right here, but you know, this is a brand new 2025 truck, so now it's already damaged. But it's all good though. Hey man, we're gonna talk about my trucking journey and how it's going so far. I've been trucking for 3 years now, and I started my trucking career with CR England. I started in 2022. I stayed there for like a year. I was doing drive-in and reefer. I knew eventually I wanted to get into another division that was like something I could use my hands, use my muscles, because I ended up gaining 50 pounds my first year of trucking. So I knew I wanted to do something where I could use my muscles and sweat a little more. So I ended up choosing flatbed. At first, so when I first was at CR England, I ended up doing a team with one of my co-drivers. He was in the truck with us while I was training to get my my miles in order for me to get my own truck. So I ended up teaming up with the other co-driver. Like he stayed in Georgia, and I'm from Georgia, so he ended up working out a little bit. I did that for like a year. And my trainer, he ended up telling me that team could be a good idea your first year trucking. You'll end up making more than most rookie truckers. So I took that in consideration and ended up doing very good my first year. But after that, I ended up switching divisions. But my plan was to do a year company, and once I did company, I was gonna go into lease purchase, because my goal is I want to be an owner operator. So I ended up going to the lease purchase, and I ended up choosing board transportation. I went to board. I only stayed there for like 3 months. The reason why, I felt like as a company driver, it was good, because I had to go there and do 6 weeks of company, then I could transfer it to lease purchase. I just feel like, you know, they a good company as far as company, but at least first I felt like they're the payments and stuff, it just didn't make sense. I feel like if they wasn't able to give me a load or something, it would put me in the negatives, which I was in quite a few times. Don't get me wrong, it was a good time while I was doing that, but I just wanted something a little bit more consistent. So I ended up doing a little bit more research, and I ended up seeing that they had a lease purchase like / owner operator thing with Swift, and I didn't know they had a flatbed division. So I ended up choosing them, leasing on to them, and it's been going pretty good so far now. I've been with them going on a year, so plan on staying with them for right now. I've been doing pretty good here. It makes sense, the payments. They usually don't let you get in the negatives. You know, if it's a holiday, they end up taking the payment off. Well, if you send at home, it's kind of like you losing money, so it don't put you in that negative. And also they have escrow and maintenance account. You can take your money out, and if you was to go home, you can use that towards it, so you won't be in the negatives when you get back on the road. But yeah, it's been going pretty smooth so far, man. You know, I mean, of course, you know, you have things like yeah, before I made this video, I had to do my I had to get my steer shaft replaced because it ended up popping loose, you know, going down those 6% grades. And I had to do that, and I got a B series. But went through a few tires during my career, but I ain't really had no major breakdowns in trucking so far, and I'm grateful for that. But yeah, it's going pretty good so far, pretty consistent. Of course, my goal is to be owner operator, but I chose to do this to, to uh, prep myself for being an owner operator. I learned how to take care of the truck. I do pretty thorough pre-trips, post-trips. Getting all my B services done, making sure my tires straight, my air hose, and all that good stuff. So I learned a lot. I'm still learning too, but I'm not a person I'm not scared to try anything, but I do like to prep myself before I get myself into things. So that would be my advice to y'all that, people that think about trucking or wanting to get into lease purchase. On the company side, you can come in with no money and you'll do good. But as far as lease purchase, before you get into lease purchase, I would recommend that you do company first. Get the rope, learn the ropes of driving the truck, being in the truck, how to take care of the truck, and save you up some money before you get in there, because that can be a big part of your success. If you save some money and you get your own fuel card too, that's what a lot of people don't tell you. If you get your own fuel card, they'll allow you to be successful too, because if you use the companies or wherever owner operators fuel card, that deducts out of your net pay. So take that in consideration too. If all y'all know, I would have at least 10,000 saved before you do lease purchase, because some companies they'll you might be in the hole your first couple weeks just due to the payments. Now some of them will still pay you like company numbers, but when you first get in, but until you get out of that debt, they're gonna keep paying you company numbers. But then once you get out, then when you can start getting lease purchase that's owner operator pay after that. But that would be my thing, man. Get your own fuel card and learn how to fuel too. When you fueling with a company car and fueling with your own fuel car, or just fueling on lease purchase side is different. Company, you can fill up when you want to, and most of the time you filling up to get showers or free food from the store. But with lease purchase, if I got 100 miles left on my trip to deliver, and then I got another load that's 50 miles away from there, I don't want to put $400 in my tank or put 100 gallons in my tank. I'm only gonna put 52 to 60 gallons in my tank to make it to my destination and make it a pickup, and at least make it to get parking that day. And then you don't want to fill up that next day going into it, because if you putting $400 in your tank and there's $400 taken out of that load, so I would say just learn how to fuel and learn that you don't have to fill up every time you go to pick up. Just have a plan going into it. If you got a plan, then most of the time it works out. But don't just jump into it because you'll make more money. Of course you're gonna make more money than company, but just be patient and just learn the ropes. Learn the ropes of trucking before you get into it. But for some people it may work out. You can go straight to lease. I know some people that did and they were successful, but me, I like to prep myself. I don't like to put myself in a position to lose. So I want to get into the company first and then get into lease purchase. Now that I'm doing lease purchase or lease owner operator, now I know the ropes of being the owner operator. I know how to take care of my truck, I know how to save, putting money up for maintenance. So that's stuff I learned doing this. But yeah, that's all on like the lease person of my trucking journey. Why I chose to do it is because we all have things that we love to do. Football was my first thing I love to do, and then I love to work out and I love to drive. Driving brought peace to me, so I like using my hands. I like doing stuff where they give me a task and then I can go get the job done. So I felt that transportation was something that I would be successful at, and it was something like if I was still playing football, if I was like 10 years in, I would have a trucking business running on the side. So I'm not a one-trick pony. I like to do multiple things at once. So that was something I was always going to get into, regardless of how my football career went. But But yeah, going into my football career, before I was trucking, before I started trucking, uh, so I had an opportunity. I know I had a professional opportunity with the Atlanta Falcons and the Washington Commanders. Once, I did that. I had an opportunity to go to the CFL. I ended up getting a call from the CFL. I did that for like 3 years, from 20 from 2019 to 2021, going into 2022. But once I got cut, it just, it all just clicked for me. I just was like, you know what? Yes, I'm still gonna work out and train on the professional level, but I'm gonna go ahead and study for my CDL, and get my license. That way, if something was to happen or didn't work out, I could just go straight into that. So I just chose to go ahead and go straight into my trucking career, and that's how I got here. Pretty simple, like I said, things go pretty smooth while I'm out here. Cause I honestly feel like you dictate your day. Me, I always do what I gotta do to make my mindset positive before I get on the road, and positive things happen. And don't get me wrong, you're gonna have stuff like what I just showed y'all happen as far as the damages, but it happens. That's part of trucking. You just gotta be prepared for things to happen like that. So that's all for today. I'm gonna talk. It was just a talking video today. I hope I gave y'all a good enough information. If you consider getting into lease purchase, or if you consider getting into trucking. And don't get me wrong, it's not for everybody, because it's definitely a lifestyle. If you're a person that struggles with being by yourself sometimes, I'm not gonna say it might not work, it just might not work, but, or sometimes some companies, they'll let you bring, your significant other, your kids on the truck. That way you ain't gotta be by yourself, but, just know it's a lifestyle, it's not for everybody. Yes, you can make great money out here, but you have to enjoy it to do this, though. If you're a person, you don't like traffic. Well, don't get me wrong, nobody likes traffic, but if you're a person, you get mad, you ain't patient, it might not be for you, but it can. Don't let me say it might not be for you, but just take in consideration. If you're a patient person, you don't mind getting out here on the road, you want to see the world, I suggest it. I suggest that you consider, getting some type of transportation, because transportation gonna always be here. So, but I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Share this to somebody, that's probably consider getting into trucking. If you're an adult, you want your kids to get into it, they can definitely hit me up. I got my social medias, attached to my YouTube, and I'm gonna put my email on it too, just in case they want to ask any questions. But make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Well, if you're new, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you've been here, you've been following me along this journey so far, make sure you comment and share to a friend. I'll see y'all in my next video.